Mark could have had someone from the synagogue who's been taught say, ooh, this is great teaching. I know who this is. This is the Holy One of God. But instead, the unclean spirit speaks those words. What's that about? So, as I think about that, I think it means a couple things, for me anyway. One is, Mark's just telling us this is the Messiah. This is the Holy One. God's doing a new thing, and it's through this person. So, watch and see what happens. And the second one is, I think Mark is saying not just who Jesus is, but also telling us telling us how Jesus is, what Jesus is like. There's a wildness to Jesus, and we need to be open to that and aware of that as we start this story. There's going to be some unpredictable things happening here. I think that's a good question for us. It's been something good for me to think about. Or questions like this come from that. Is our Jesus tame? Do we have a lapdog Jesus that's housebroken, does everything we want Jesus to do? We know exactly what Jesus will do? Or is there some wildness left? Are we open to some wildness? I'll be the first to admit my Jesus is pretty tame. You preach sermons for a while, you tame Jesus pretty quick. Okay? So this is a good question for me. And as I think about it, I think it means that I need to be open to disruption. Perhaps we need to be open to disruption. Jesus is going to say disrupting things like love your enemies. To people like us who have our grudges, we have those people that we have in the various categories for various reasons, political affiliation, different life experience, different class, whatever. Love your enemies, Jesus says. To a nation, we're in the midst of, we're a people, part of a nation at war, 2 wars, Jesus will say, love your enemies. And by the way, I'm going to the cross and I'm not fighting back. That's a disruptive sort of statement for us. Jesus will say, sell your possessions as we live in this materialistic society, dependent upon a consumer economy where spending is important. Sell your possessions. What's that? He'll say it. He'll nurture in us this love that values the outcast, not just values them, but sees them as especially important, saying this is the realm of God. This is good news. Redeeming love, restoring and healing love is like this. That turns things upside down. That's not a tame thing. And this is going to, there will be all sorts of things like this. Mark is just setting the stage for us. If we take wildness out of love, it's not the same love anymore. I think Mark might be saying if we take the wildness out of Jesus, it's not the same Jesus anymore. And Mark's encouraging us to be open to something that isn't quite controllable, and to be open to being moved off center as we walk this way of faith. May it be so. Amen.